Here we go. All right, so today's training is on Google Forms, which is a part of Google Drive. We're going to be going over that. Before we start with that, to give you a little rundown of Google Drive. Google Drive is a great resource to use. It could be considered like a cloud that you are going to be able to access from any device or computer as long as you log into your Google account. To have access to Google Drive, you do need a Google account, and it is up to you. It is, your personal preference if you want to use your personal Google account, your personal Gmail, or if you want to go ahead and set one up specifically for school. So you could, set one up, for example, J Fernandez and maybe my location number, or J Fernandez MDCPS location number. However you want to do it, you could set one up specifically for the school. It's completely up to you. However, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but just so you know, to get access to Google Drive and all the things that are offered under Google Drive, you will need a Google account, a Gmail account. So once you log in to your Gmail, for example, I always use Google Chrome, which is another good thing, because if you use Google Chrome, there's always going to be over here in the left-hand corner, there's always going to be a little apps button. So wherever you are, for example, let me just act like I just came onto the computer. I'm on MSN. I'm looking at the news and I'm like, shoot, I got to go work on that Google Drive thing. Come over here to apps. I click apps, and all the different apps that are available under Google are going to show up here. I'm going to want to go to my Google Drive. Okay. Once you go into your Google Drive, if you are already logged in under Gmail, it is going to log you into that Google Drive. If not, you would just have to log in. But this is what Google Drive is. Once you've started saving things onto Google Drive, they will show up here. You will always have quick access here, which are going to be the things that you have recently gone into or accessed, or somebody shared with you. And then below that, you're going to have all the different file folders that you have under Google Drive. As you can see, my storage, I need to go through that because it does give you 15 gigabytes of storage, and I've used 14.5. I'm one of those storage pushers. I love to get right to the end and freak out. So under Google Drive, you do have different options. When you click the little arrow next to my drive, it is, well, no, I'm sorry, not there. Up here on the new button. When you click new, it is going to give you the different options that you have. Just to let you know, if you ever want to upload something into your Google Drive, maybe from your computer to work on at home, or anything like that, you can do a folder, or you can create a new folder. You can do a file upload from your computer whenever you're going to do a file upload. It does give you the option to search, or it does also give you the option, there's a way to do it here where you could just drag it into it, but I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I definitely recommend after this training to go into Google, play around with it, because it does have so much to offer. And today we're only going over Google Forms, but there are so many other things to offer in the Google Drive that will be very beneficial to you. So again, under new, you have, the different file upload, folder upload, to create a new folder. And then these are the different things that are offered under Google Drive. Okay. So Google Docs, which is basically, think of Microsoft Word. You would create a Google Doc there, and it shows up, just like a Microsoft Word document, typing, changing the font, adding images, all of that. So that's basically like Word. And the good thing I like about this as well is that a lot of the icons mirror the Microsoft Office icons. So they're kind of easy to say, oh, okay, this is like this on Microsoft if you're used to Microsoft Office. So Google Docs is like Microsoft Word. If you were to click the side arrow, you can do a blank template or even from a template. I'm sorry, blank document or from a template. Google Sheets is basically like Excel. It even has the different tabs that you can create at the bottom, a lot of the different features like Excel has. If you are a school assessment coordinator, you are very familiar with Google Sheets because Dharma loves Google Sheets and she sends them out all the time to keep track of different things, deliveries, you know, things like that. But Dharma loves Google Sheets, so once you were to see Google Sheets on, you know, from Google, you would know that you've seen it before. Google Slides, which would be almost like a PowerPoint presentation. And then for Google Forms, that's going to be found under More. And you see all these different things here. Like I said, it just has, it's a plethora of resources. I definitely recommend when you have a chance to go through it, play around with it. I mean, it's like the world is at your fingertips with Google here. So Google Forms, we're going to go ahead and go to a blank form. So Google Form is basically like a survey, creating a survey that you can use as a school assessment coordinator for many different reasons. Today, during this training, we're actually going to be creating a Google form for teachers. And this could be a Google form that you would send out to your teachers at the beginning of the school year. Excuse me. Maybe you've had, there's been a big change, a turnover in staff, there's new teachers, you work at a very big school, you're not going to be able to talk to all of the teachers individually. And you want to just get a feel at the beginning of the school year for how familiar all your teachers are with state mandated assessments, how familiar they are with administering things like, if you're at a high school, administering the PSAT, or how familiar they are with administering computer-based as opposed to paper-based. You just want to get a feel for where your teachers are at the beginning of the year. So you want to send out a survey to them. If you do not, well, again, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but just so you know, when you create a Google form, the people who are going to respond to it do not necessarily need a Google account or necessarily need a Gmail account. And when we get to sending it out and preparing the link to send out to those teachers, I will go over that with you so you'll see. Okay, so one of the things I really like about this, about Google Forms, is it kind of starts, like, you know, when you're on Google and you're searching something and it starts to autofill based on what you're typing. This does the same thing in regards to the question that you're typing and what type of question it will be. Okay, so let's say we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to start this off and we want to know, let me use my little cheat sheet here. We want to know what previous teaching experience the teachers at your school have. Okay, so right here you would start typing the question. Okay. Yes, this comes out here to multiple choice. That was automatically what was there. So for the next question, I'll show you how that will how it will determine what type of question it should be. So what type of teaching experience do you have? Here's where you would add the different options for it. So for example, we would say 0 to 2 years. And we're going to add another one. 3 to 5 years. 5 to 7 years. And then here we could just do 8 years or more. Oops. 8 years or more. Okay. Now here I did put the 0 to 2 years. However, if I were to change that and put 1 to 2 years, I would add an option here that would say no teaching experience. Okay, but I put 0 to 2. I'm giving them four choices. It's multiple choice. If you click this little down arrow, it'll show you all the different choices that you have for the questions, and we'll go over this, with the other questions that we're going to put now. There's a short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop down, which I'm going to show you about that. That one's pretty cool. File upload is actually if you're going to do any type of survey where you want them to upload a file to it for the question. So maybe you want them to sign a form or sign a consent or something, and then save it or scan it, save it, and then upload it there. That's what you would use. Linear scale, this is going to be for the ones that are like on a scale of 1 to 5. How comfortable do you feel with this? Multiple choice grid, I've not really used that one. I'm assuming, I'm not sure what that one is. Checkbox grid, date and time. Okay, so here we want this question to be required. So we are going to make sure that we mark required here at the bottom. If it is a question that is not required, obviously that would not be marked. Okay, these little 3 dots here show description. Go to section based on answer, shuffle option order. We would do that now when we have multiple questions, but we're not going to use that right now. Okay, if you wanted to create this question again, you would just click duplicate and it would repeat the question under it. Okay, now I'm done with this question. Let me go ahead and add another question. You would just click over here in the little plus icon to add a question. You can look at the other ones here. There's import questions. Maybe you already have a survey saved on a Word document and you want to import that question here. You could do that right there. Add title and description. So, for example, if I were going to create, let me move this up. Okay, these little 6 dots here at the top allow you to move something up and down, okay, to change the order of it. So let's say right now I want to title this section as teaching experience. And description is optional, what you can put here. And again, if you're sending this out to your teachers, maybe you want to begin to build a rapport with them, let them know, let them feel comfortable with coming to you and talking to you about testing, maybe their fears or their apprehensions about testing. You could put here teaching experience. Okay, maybe you want to put, let me know how much you know so I can help you. A little smiley face or whatever, however you want to do that there. Okay, so that would be right there. Now, before I move on to the next question, here at the top, there is a little eyeball to go ahead and preview the Google form and how it appears so far. So if I click that, it's going to show me how the survey will appear to anybody responding to the survey. Okay, so you have my my title here, my title for this section, not my title for the survey. I haven't named it yet. My title for this section, a little description about it. Okay, if there's only going to be one question, obviously don't put a title. That wouldn't necessarily make any sense. When you open the preview, it does open up as a separate tab. So whenever you want to exit, you're not going to click back or anything. It's not even able to select. We're just going to X out. It's going to take us back to the form. Okay. So let's continue on with, let's add another question. Okay. Let me go to my cheat sheet. Have you ever administered? Okay. Let me actually change this. No, I'm going to do this one. Have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? Have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? You want to know if your school assessment, if your teachers currently at the school have any experience with administering an FCAT 2.0, an EOC, Algebra 1, anything like that. Okay, so have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? This will automatically choose multiple choice. In this particular case, we only need a yes or a no. So there's only going to be 2 options here. Yes and no, and this one will be required. Okay. Notice that when I click next question, it puts the question at the top. It doesn't put it at the bottom. Okay, so while you're doing this, you can go ahead and continue organizing it or putting it in the order that you would like, so you don't have to do it at the end, depending on how many questions you're going to have. You don't want to, be caught up doing that and maybe get something out of order. You know that this is going to be your second question. You can go ahead and move it down. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that there. Now the next question that we are going to put, okay, This one, when I click next question, happened to come out at the bottom. I think it just depends on where you are on the sheet. So for example, if I were up here and I were going to put a next question, it won't let me because I already have one down here. So that's fine. So this one, let me go ahead and show you. Let's say, you started typing here and you're like, oh, I don't want that question. Let's just say you had something typed there. When you click the little garbage can, it's going to delete it and it's gone. You do have the undo item deleted box that shows up in the bottom left-hand corner. So you could undo that, which is good. But it does disappear after a while. So keep that in mind. Okay. So for this question, this one I'm excited to show you. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm excited to show you this question. Have administered, let's keep it all the same, a state and comma. Oh shoot. How comfortable administrator. Okay, so here, because I added the beginning, that beginning part to the question, that beginning stem that said, if you have administered a state mandated assessment before, because obviously if they answered no up here, they're not going to answer this one. But let's say I didn't have this and I just had this part, right? I just had how comfortable do you feel being a test administrator? It went ahead and automatically generated or assumed that this question is going to be on a linear scale. So it automatically selected it, okay? Keep in mind, although this automatically selects something, you do not have to stick with that question type. Let's say I don't want to do a linear scale. Let's say linear scale is confused with the Jesus out of me. I don't want to do a linear scale. I want to do a multiple choice, and I want to put something like very comfortable, somewhat comfortable, not comfortable at all. You can do that. You can change it. This is not fixed. So you can change it to whatever you want, but it is telling me, it is helping me out here and saying, hey, this question looks like you would use it as a linear scale. So let's go ahead and, try to do it as a linear scale. So let me add the beginning again here. And I'm just grabbing this from my little cheat sheet. That's why I change this here. It's going to stay as linear scale because I had already typed it before. But again, just to show you, you can change it to whatever you want. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it to the linear scale. And I want it to be on a scale of 1 to 5. And here for the labels, and these are optional, but I would recommend anytime you do a linear scale to go ahead and let them know what 1 means and what 5 means. Because you're looking at that one person who thinks that 1 means amazing, number 1, great. And usually that's not the case for linear scales. We usually have 1 as not comfortable at all, or okay. And again, keep in mind, if this is going out to your teachers and you're trying to build the rapport, you can, you can change the way the responses are here. Put something, you can put something like, comfortable. You can train the trainer. I don't know, to build the rapport with your teachers. So not comfortable at all, and we'll just put it there. Okay. This one will not be required. It won't be required because if they answer no up here for the state mandated test, they are not going to answer this. Okay, I am asking if you have administered an assessment before, how comfortable do you feel being a test administrator? Okay, so this one is not going to be required. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. Another thing to keep in mind with Google Docs, with anything you're doing on Google Docs, it is continuously saving it. Okay, it is continuously saving it. If I were to exit right now because I have to go do something else or I have to walk out to a meeting or whatever. There's really no save button here right now. It is saving automatically onto my Google Drive. So once I go back into it, I can pick up right where I left off. So that's another really good benefit with Google Drive. It's constantly saving. It's always there. You actually have to go the step further to delete something as opposed to it being, missing from your Google Drive. Okay, so that was that question. We did not require that question. Just going to double check up here. We required this one. Yeah, all right, so we're good. And look how when I moved up here, it kind of gives me a little preview of the question. Not comfortable at all, very comfortable. Okay, so let me click here. I'm going to add a question underneath it. My next question is, okay, so this question. Goodness. Okay, so which assessments would you like to administer this year? So as I was typing this question, it automatically determined that this answer is going to be check boxes. It did that because I typed in which assessments would you like to administer this year. So obviously there's going to be more than one. But let's say I typed which assessments would you like to administer this year, and each of my options were like 3 different assessments. So they had to look through and see which option of the 3 assessments they wanted. I could just change this to multiple choice. But in this particular case, that is not what I wanted for my question. I wanted to know which assessments of all the assessments that we have to do would they be most interested in administering. And I can also add here to the question, parentheses, select all. Okay. And then here, let's say I'm working at a high school. Algebra 1, you'll see. I could put biology, you'll see. History, EOC. Grades 9 and 10. And then maybe here I want to put FFA. Okay. And you can add anything else here. Again, it would be, your survey. Maybe you want to ask also if anybody would be interested in administering AP tests, anything like that. Okay. So this one's going to stay as a checkbox. I want this one required. Everybody is going to have to administer a test this year, right? I've been nice up to this point as a school assessment coordinator, but you know how it is. When we need people, we need people. So you don't get a choice. Like there's not going to be an option here that says no test, please, thank you. No, it's required. You need to answer one of these choices because I'm going to need to put you somewhere. Okay, so look, I missed geometry. So required, we're good there. Let's go ahead and add another one. Okay, so this one will be the last, like I said, this particular survey that we're preparing for this training session is a very short one, okay? I always think it's beneficial when you're sending out a survey, especially when you're sending out a survey to people that you collaborate closely with and that you depend on. I always think it's good to end the survey with some type of fill-in or short response where they can give maybe their feedback or their suggestions for something. So here we are going to ask, I'm just going to copy it. What do you feel can be done to ensure a successful testing season? So you do have paragraph and you do have short answer. Okay, so short answer text, just depends on what you want to do. I believe it'll give them a limit, a character limit. We'll check now. This one, it's up to you if you want to do it required or not. I'm not going to do it required for this survey because I just want them to, if they feel comfortable telling me, let me know. What do they feel can be done to ensure a successful testing season? Maybe they want more training available. Maybe they always want to have a proctor when they're testing, even if they have under 25 under 25 students. Whatever the case may be, give me your suggestions. Let me click another question and see. Okay, so when I get to the preview there for the question, I'll see the difference between short answer text and paragraph. It might only give them, the opportunity to use 150 characters or something like that. You want to keep it simple, okay? At the end of the day, if they want to tell you more, they can email you. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the order here. I don't want this title. I showed you how to do the title, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. I don't want that one. You know what I forgot to do here? I forgot for them to choose or to let me know who they are as they are doing the survey, as they are completing the survey. So what I want to do here is I'm going to add a question. I'm going to move it to the top. Okay. Now, here, this one is interesting. Not interesting. I think it's really cool how it does it so quickly. So here, you want them to go ahead and select from a drop-down menu their name to let you know which teacher they are. Okay. Before you do that for the drop-down, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be preparing that information that you want on the drop-down on an Excel spreadsheet that you can then grab, like copy it and paste it onto this Google form. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So okay, I put below so it knows it's going to be a drop down. Okay, now let me pause this share and do a new share. And I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, so this is something that I used for a previous testing. A previous training session that I did. These are supposed to be student names, but I'm going to act like these are my teacher names. You can get your teacher roster without having to bother anybody in your school, any secretary or anything like that. You can get a list of all of the teachers at your school on File Download Manager. Okay, so if you haven't attended one of those trainings for File Download, I definitely recommend that you view the training sessions on the YouTube channel so you can see how to figure out under which category you can find teacher names. But you can definitely go ahead and get a list of all the teachers in your school and put it onto an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, what you would do is then you would grab all of your teachers. Okay, these are the teachers I have, and you would just copy. And then let me go back to my Google form. And right here under option 1, you just paste all of the names. And now 75 teachers appear here as a drop down, under the drop down menu for them to select. Obviously you have to scroll a lot here. You have to scroll quite a bit. And you can change the order here. Anytime you see these little 6 dots, it's because you can change the order some way, somehow. Okay, so here I have them alphabetized. I don't want to change them. I don't want to do anything, but this question is required. These are actually not alphabetized because I just saw Zuckerberg up here somewhere. But that's fine. It doesn't matter. If you want them to be alphabetized, you can do that. Why? Because it's going to be easier for them to search. Because again, you're going to probably have that one teacher who their name is Macaulay Culkin, and they've gone through all of the alphabetized ones, and they get to Culkin and they don't see their name. I'm not on the list. So any order that you have your Excel spreadsheet, keep that in mind. If you want it to be alphabetized, make it alphabetized. If you want it to have their grade level right next to them, if you noticed on the Excel spreadsheet, let me go back to it really quick. I grabbed from 2 columns and they're showing up there under the 2 columns. I could easily add grade level next to it. Okay, so you can grab grade level, you can grab anything like anything like that where it'd be easy for them to find out. But whatever order this is in on your Excel spreadsheet is how it is going to appear on your Google form. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back to my Google form where all of my names show up unalphabetized, but it's okay. And this is going to be required. Remember, whenever a question is required, they will more than likely either not be able to move on to the next question, or if all the questions are on one screen, they will not be able to submit their survey. Okay, so I've done that. And you know what? Before I move on, I really want to see how this is going to look for them. So let me preview it. All right, so I haven't given a title or anything. I got to come up with a catchy title here. I want my teachers to not be, not be put off by this survey. So please select your name below. They're going to click the little down arrow. They're going to choose their name. Okay. They're going to, let's see if they didn't choose their name. Let me go back up to choose. Okay. I'm going to leave that like that because I want to see what's going to happen. If it'll let me continue answering questions. What type of teaching experience do you have? 3 to 5 years. Have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? Okay, let's act like I didn't answer this one and I move on to another one because I want to see if that's going to automatically turn red. I moved down here. I just, skipped it, whatever, as I'm doing this assessment, as I'm doing this survey. You have administered an assessment before. How comfortable do you feel being a test administrator? Oh, I'm very comfortable. Okay, so it doesn't tell me anything here, but when I come down to the submit, I know that it's going to tell me this is a required question. So let's just skip that one too. Which assessments would you like to administer this year? Select all that apply. I'm comfortable with all of them. Okay. What do you feel can be done to ensure a successful testing season? More small group training for, remember this one's the one that's the short text. So let me keep writing because I want to see if anything appears here. Training for test administrators. This is letting me go for quite a bit. So, I mean, you're really, unless, I don't know, you have a bitter Betty there at the school, I'm pretty sure they're not going to fill this up with, what a bad job they might think that you're doing. There's always a critic. So, you could keep it a short text. Paragraph is going to be more so if they need to respond to something, like if you were to have like when we go to PDs and you need to answer something for the evaluation like that. But I think short text should be enough. So let me try to submit this. See, and it won't let you because they're required. Anything that's marked with a red asterisk is required. So I'm going to choose my name. I am Monica Geller. Have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? Yes. And I answered everything else. Now I'm going to submit. Your response has been recorded. Okay, so remember again, as I open this preview, it does show up as a separate tab. Okay, when you come over, let's say you start sending out this survey to people, to your teachers, and you start, teachers start responding to it. It's been a week, whatever. When you come over here, this is where you can fix the questions, or like where you can create the questions and all of that. Responses here, when you click responses, it's going to show you, please select your name below. Obviously that one is going to be all different colors as they start answering. What type of teaching experience you have, and it has it show up as a pie graph, which I think is really cool because I'm a visual person. So when I start seeing, the blue and the yellow and the green show up, it starts giving me a very clear picture of what I'm working with this school year. With the different teachers, and when it comes to testing, what I should definitely keep in mind. Okay, so you're gonna have all your questions here. For your linear graph, it's going to be a bar graph that's going to show up. I think that's pretty cool. That's much better visually for the responses. Okay, Which assessment would you like to administer this year? This one, the same thing. It shows up just like that because, you know, you're going to have, since you can select all that apply, your numbers are going to not match the number of teachers you have. You might have, you know, 75 teachers and 75 want Algebra 1 EOC and 75 want biology. So just keep that in mind. Okay. And then what do you feel can be done to ensure a successful testing season? It'll go showing up here, you know, how they responded. Obviously, I've only had one person respond, so I'm going to know who responded with this about the more small group training for test administrators, sharpen pencils, and so on. But as I get more responses, it's not going to tell me who gave me those short text responses, okay? It's just going to show up there as different different things that you wanted to know, different responses and suggestions that you wanted to know. So that's where you would locate responses. Now, let's make this pretty, right? Because this is not very pretty right now. So let's put 2020, 2021, right? Wishful thinking. 2020, 2021, start of school testing survey. Okay, and form description here, if you want to introduce yourself to all the teachers, if you are a new school assessment coordinator, you know, whatever you want to put here for form description, or if you just want to be, you know, keep it down to business and put this survey is intended to determine, let's put it just in business, right? If you're going to be nice and fluffy, you can do that on your own. But here, let's put this survey, oh, please excuse my spelling, intended to determine the experience of staff on site. This survey is intended to determine the experience of all staff on site in order to appropriately prepare for state-mandated assessments. And here we can put a due date if we want. Sure to complete the survey by, oh gosh, I'm just going to put this Friday because I don't know if it's in like August and so. So Friday, today the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, by Friday, June 19th. Let's see, I think we can also change this. No, that's to add title and description. I don't think you could really change this to be bold. Let me try to do Control V. Yeah, it doesn't do it, which is fine. Okay, so that's going to be the title of our survey. That's going to be that. Let's see, maybe we want to add, customize a theme. Up here, when you click the little paint, I don't know what it's called, the little paint thing, hover over it, you can see it says customize theme. Okay, so let's see, for a header, choose an image. So when you click choose image, you can upload your own picture. Okay, so if you want to put a picture of your school's mascot, logo, the front of the school, whatever you might want to put, you can definitely upload. But there's themes already entered here. There's work and school, illustrations, birthday, food and dining, so on and so forth. Okay, so for this one, and as you see, they have quite a few different things. I'm going to put this one. What's this one? Can you see it? It's like a coffee, maybe this one. And I'm going to go ahead and insert it. And when you click insert, it's going to come out at the top. Oh, I like that one. That one's cute. Looks like a teacher's desk. I'm going to go ahead and click that one. I can change the theme color. It's going to choose brown because everything up here is brown. But you know what? I kind of like the yellow a little bit more. I'm going to do yellow. Background color. Do I want it to be pink? I want it white. Maybe I want it white. No. I like this color. This one's nice. You don't have to choose a color here. You can also choose a theme, a custom color. You click that. Again, these are things that you've probably used in some other program on the computer. Just play around with it. Let's say that's the color I want. It'll show up here. Click add. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, font style. You can even change the font. Let's see. Let's put it playful. Okay, so when you change the font is not going to change the question font. It is I'm sorry, the answer font. It is going to change the question font. Okay, this one might be a little too small for the questions. I like it though, it's pretty. It's called playful. You have formal, basic, which is the one that we were using before, or decorative. So you get an idea of formal. I'm gonna go ahead and stick to basic. Okay, we're gonna keep it basic. All right, once you do that, you can X out. You don't have to click save or anything. It's going to save there. Okay, you know what? I think we are ready for this survey to go out to people. Okay, so if we are ready, we're good to go. We're going to, before we're good to go, before we're good to send it out, you click the little gears over here next to the send button. And what this is going to do is that this is going to let you set certain parameters for the survey. Okay, so if you wanted to collect email addresses when you send this survey out, you could, if you click collect email addresses, it's going to come up, and response receipts. Okay, collect email addresses. They could go ahead and it's going to appear when we have the survey now. So response receipts, if the respondent requests it, or you know what, I'm kind of OCD, I want them to always get the response receipts. I always want them to know that they did that. Okay, here where it says requires sign in, limit to one response is going to be, and when you click it, it'll show you. Respondents will be required to sign in to Google. If we are going to prepare this survey and we are going to send the link to our teachers at their Dade School's email, we don't want them to have to go into their Google account to access this just to get one response. At least not for this survey, because this survey is just meant for the purpose of you wanting to keep track of, you know, where your teachers stand when it comes to testing. So we don't want to limit to one response. We're dealing with adults, we're dealing with professionals, so we don't think that somebody's going to try to go in and, you know, fill out the survey 5 times and give us bogus information. That would be used more so if you were going to be doing a survey with students, and all the students have a Google account or a Google email. That's where you would use that. We're not going to use that for this survey. Okay. Respondents can edit after submit. I don't want to do that. Once they submit, they submit. It's only like 5 questions. We're good. See summary charts and text responses. I don't want them to do that right now because, you know, I'm not saying that it's like trust issues or anything like that, but when they see summary charts and text responses, I don't want to show them that right now, because if they're obviously going to get that after they answer the survey. So it's not like it's going to dictate how they answer. I'd rather this be information that maybe I only have. But if it's something, if you're doing a survey for some other purpose, or you're helping out administrators in your school and sending out a survey of any sort that teachers should be aware of how people are responding, then that's where you would click that. For the purpose of this survey, I am not going to select that. Okay, so I'm going to click save. Okay, and now I think we're good. See now how this comes up, email address, valid email address. It adds it in once I've selected that they need to include their email address. Okay, and I think we're good. So let's go ahead and click send. Okay, so you have the option here to email it from here and tell them I've invited you to fill out a form. You can even add collaborators here. Anytime you add a collaborator, it does have to be somebody with a Gmail account, but this is just a survey that you are doing for your purposes of, you know, keeping track of things. So I don't want to send it out via email. I actually want a link for it. So I'm going to click that. You can choose this huge long link, or you can even shorten the URL. Okay, and it shortened it even more. So you can click Control-C to copy, or you can, you know, it's already selected. You can right-click and click Copy. Control-C is fine. And then, or if, I'm sorry, if it's selected, you click Control-C to copy, or you also click Copy here, and it'll come out. Then, let's say this was a survey I was going to send out. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. You see it's copied to my clipboard. I am going to, oh, I'm here. You can see when I switch online, right? You can see that I'm going to my email box. Hopefully you can. Okay, so I'm going to go to my Outlook really quick. And I'm going to open up a new message. Of course, it would take forever. Okay, I'm going to pop it out. Okay, can everybody see the, I don't think you can. I think I have to do a new share. You can't see the email that I'm about to start, right?
Yes, we can.
Oh, you can. Okay, so you see it popped out here. Good. Okay, so, you know, I'm going to put all my teachers' names here, whatever. I'm going to put 2020, 2021 testing survey. And then whatever you want to put here, you know.
Jennifer, we can't see it anymore.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, we can't see it anymore.
Give me one. There. Yeah, because I did, I popped it out of the screen, so I need to do as a new share. You see it now?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so you would put all your teachers here, CC if you want to CC. 2020, 2021 testing survey, put whatever text you want here, and I can either right click and select paste, or I can click Control V. And there it is. I can click Control V, and that is going to be the link to go to the survey. Okay, so whoever gets this, whether they have a Google account or not, if they click on that link, okay, and I'm gonna have to do a new share back here, share. When they click that link from their email, it takes them to the survey. Does everybody see the survey? Yes.
Does the survey get automatically saved onto your Google Drive?
Yes. And I'm going to show you now.
Okay.
Remember, I never clicked save on the survey. So I'm going to show you now how it shows up in my Google Drive. But let me just go through this really quick. So this is like, for example, I sent out the email, you know, Monica Geller got it in her inbox, or whoever. And they're going to fill it out now. And hold on, let me move this. Move this up because I can't see. Okay. So I'm going to enter my email address, and they do not have to enter their day's schools. You can put in the email if you want them to, for the email address to use here, if you want them to use their day's schools, you know, you can specify that for them. So here I'm going to go ahead and enter my day's schools. Okay. Please select my name below. Who am I going to be right now? Let's be Rachel Green. What type of teaching experience do you have? 3 to 5 years. Have you ever administered a state mandated assessment? No. I have all the teaching experience, but I did not administer one. So I do not have to answer this one. Remember, they are all going to show up with a red asterisk if they are required, and it does say it at the top. Red asterisk required. Okay. However, I could, you know, still fill this out. Which assessment would you like to administer this year? I want to do Algebra 1 and FSA ELA. What do you feel can be done to ensure a successful testing season? Training. Rachel, the funny one. Okay, so a copy of your responses will be emailed to the address you provided. I'm going to go ahead and submit.
Next one.
And that's it. Your response has been recorded. Submit another response. Again, because this is with your teachers, I don't think you would necessarily have a reason to limit them to one response. And if you limit them to one response, it's going to be that they need their Gmail account for it. So I did that, and I just heard I got an email. So as soon as your teachers are done filling out their email, filling out their survey, it's going to say, thanks for filling out the survey. And it's going to say all the responses here, okay, of what I filled out in my survey. So I keep that. As the person who did the survey, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And it's a pretty, how should I say? It's constantly updated. So you see Rachel Green just filled out her survey. Right now I'm on Google Drive. Oh, look, I got another response. And when I click on my responses now, who has responded? And it's going to give me email addresses. Remember the first person when we did, when we tried it out the first time, we didn't have the email one. So there's no email for that. But now it is something that is required. So I will, like, before I send out the survey, I have to make sure that that's there. You know, I see the different responses here. You see how it adds the information. Okay, you see now for the short text, it does not say the name of the person and what they said. So I can't hold it against Rachel Green that she wants more training. It is what it is. It's here. You know, I'm not going to see that, especially once I start getting more teachers sending in their responses. And up here, you can also click accepting responses. If you close that, not accepting responses. So the form would no longer be accepting responses. So let's say we set the due date for Friday, June 19th, and it is Monday, June 22nd. No longer can you respond. Okay, no longer do I want the stragglers coming in. You also have the option of creating a spreadsheet with these responses. I'm not going to get into that. That's something that I like this version a little bit more, like with the different graphs. When you create a spreadsheet, it just gives you the different responses on what looks like an Excel spreadsheet. So that is an option there that you can definitely play around with, create, you know, your own little survey, respond on it yourself, you know, to just play around with it and then see what the spreadsheets does for it. Okay, so somebody was asking if this saves to the drive. Yes. So let's say, for example, I finish this really quickly. I, you know, need to get out the door. I close everything on my computer. Okay. Move this down. I close everything on my computer. I'm going to close anything that has to do with the survey. Okay. When I go to my drive, it is going to be, so you see here the little screenshot, untitled form you edited today. Okay, that's not it. Don't look at that. Hold on. Maybe I need to make sure that I'm going to just refresh. There it is. Okay. It's coming up as untitled form. Not sure why. I did give it a title. When you come back to your Google Drive, if you do not see it, like how I just did not see it and my heart went into my throat, just refresh it up here and it'll reload. But Google Drive is very, very good about that. It will always have the latest thing you worked on. Sometimes it'll save things and you're like, I didn't remember working on that. And you did. You just opened it for a second or you edited, you know, anything like that. So if I open it right now, oh, that's why, because I didn't change the title up here. I changed the title of the survey, but I didn't change it up here. So, oh, and it just updated itself. So again, it is something that's continuously saving and updating. So just give it a little bit, you know, it is a computer. But it will save into your Google Drive and it will appear there for quick access. Let's say it did not appear under quick access because, you know, you've just been working on a bunch of other things for Google. You can do either recent and it'll show up there. You can click here for the My Drive And it's going to appear there. I'm just, actually, I don't want new. I think under recent is your best bet for it. Today, yesterday, these were things. And even then, recent, we're talking about earlier this year, and we're talking about April. So that's not so recent. But just to give you what it'll do is it'll put it in order based on when you last accessed it. And let's say you don't see it here and you start freaking out, but the title of it was like some type of survey. You can always search it up here and it will start appearing here, all the different things that you have. Just click enter. Search results are going to come up. Owner, you can you can't click it. It tells you, for owner, it tells you, like for example, here you see this is under mine, and my name is Jennifer Fernandez, and this one is Kathleen Sierra. That's because she created something and she shared it with me through Google Drive, which is another huge benefit about Google Drive. Again, to share things through Google Drive, you do need a designated Gmail account to go ahead and share. But these are things that have been shared with me through Google, which is awesome when you need to collaborate on something. You see shared by, Dharma sent me a bunch of things when she shared it, all of that. So, so yeah, that's about it with Google Forms. Are there any questions? No questions? Okay. Well, if there's no questions, then we're pretty much done with Google Forms. I will be uploading this training onto the YouTube channel. So if you want to practice on your own, you can open the YouTube channel and pause it as you're going through and create your own things. Definitely recommend you do that.
How long will that YouTube channel
Yeah.
stay active? Will it be active through the school year also?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So we especially now when we saw how everything from one day to the next became digital, and the distance learning and the virtual learning and the social distancing, all of that. Once we saw that that was probably going to be something that was really going to affect trainings and different things for school assessment coordinators, we decided that a YouTube channel would be great because it could be something that they could always go back to, And this is also training that Dharma and Kathy, because I just started with them in March, but Dharma and Kathy had always found the benefit with, and now during this whole time, you're like, we finally have the time, let's do it. So, so yeah, so the YouTube channel will stay active throughout the school year.
Great.
And how do we access the channel?
Let me actually get.
Are you able to send the link to us?
Yes, I'm gonna send it now through the chat. If you were to happen to forget or lose the link, when you go to YouTube, and I am so taking a chance opening my YouTube channel here on this screen share, because my kids watch all this stuff on my YouTube channel. So please do not, where was it?
It's on the SAC training information and resources, the YouTube information.
Okay, so she was finally able to put it there. Awesome. So it is under something called School Assessment Coordinator 101. That's the channel for it. You see they have the basic Excel for beginners and all of that there. So, so that is under, like she was mentioning, that is under the reference, the quick resources. But I'll go ahead and copy this and put it into the chat just in case you want to access it that way.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, you're welcome. Where's the chat? Okay, when it does this, where's the chat? Okay. And then there's the link if you want to copy it and paste it onto a Word document or onto a sticky note on your computer, feel free to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If there are no other questions, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. This was
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Have a great day.
Too.